Hello everybody, Darren here and welcome to the top of the sale for winter 2020. Now in this video I'll be highlighting my list of best deals that you can find primarily on Steam and competing platforms. When coming up with the list, I largely looked for the deepest discounts on the highest rated games that also hadn't been out that long. So for every game in this list, they have never been cheaper. And for some of them, it's the first time that they've ever been this cheap. Because the winter sale was just a few weeks after the autumn sale, I'll be avoiding covering the same games twice, unless they became cheaper. So if you have the time, please do check out that other video as it is still relevant to this sale. Now, if people like the idea of this, and doing it with each major seasonal sale, then please do consider liking the video, sharing it, maybe commenting if you picked up any of these games yourself, or post a game that you found in the comments to help others out. Alright, without further delay, let's begin. I'll start by working backwards from the most recent releases in 2020, and first up we have Resident Evil 3 at 67% off. Released earlier this year in April, Resident Evil 3 wasn't as well received as its predecessor, with most complaints centered around the game length being shortened and some liberties taken with the story. However, what's there is still considered an extremely high quality third-person horror game, and at 67% off it gives much more value for money for the game length. You play as Jill Valentine attempting to save Raccoon City while the Umbrella Corp created a bioweapon super zombie nemesis to hunt her down. The game also features 1v4 multiplayer mode called Resistance. Next, we have the Age of Empires Definitive Collection at 63% off, a new low price. The Definitive Collection features the Definitive Edition of Age of Empires 1, 2, and 3, each with remastered art, 4K support, and several new quality of life features, as well as some brand new nations and campaigns. The games are also home to a very active multiplayer community, especially in Age of Empires 2, and with workshop support, custom maps and scenarios are plentiful. The great thing with the bundle is that if you already own one of the titles, its value is subtracted from the cost, so there's still a big saving to be had with this bundle if you're looking to just complete the collection. Next up is Desperados III at 50% off, a new low price. The game was actually featured in my autumn sale list, but the price has since lowered by a further 10%. Desperados III is a story-driven stealth tactics game set in the Wild West. There's 5 unique characters, each with their own abilities that can lead to some extremely deep gameplay, where you'll use active pause to queue up orders and execute several plans all at the right moment. The game is fully voiced, has a terrific soundtrack, and is developed by Mimimi Games, the creators of Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun. At 96% user reviews, this is the highest rated game on the list. Next, we have Outer Wilds at 40% off, another new low price. Originally funded through Kickstarter, the game became an Epic Games exclusive for a year before arriving on Steam earlier in 2020. Outer Wilds is a first-person adventure and puzzle game. Trapped in an endless time loop, you must discover the mysteries of your solar system before the star goes supernova in 22 minutes. Should you die or let the star explode, you'll reset, armed with the knowledge of your past lives, and get ever closer to breaking the loop. The game has won Game of the Year amongst several high-profile websites, and also has 95% positive reviews on Steam, making it one of the highest rated and cheapest games on this list. The next game we have is Destroy All Humans at 34% off. This remake of the 2005 cult classic released in July of this year to overwhelming praise. It's set in the late 1950s America. You play as Crypto-137, an alien sent to Earth on a rescue mission alongside Pox, who wants to harvest human brain stems for their DNA. The game is basically a big third-person destruction sandbox whereby you build up this GTA-style wanted level and you have to remain undetected. It's easy enough to do so, as destruction is covered up by the government or attributed to communism. Now we're moving into 2019, where the discounts get a little bit bigger. We have Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince, at 75% off. Trine 4 takes the series back to its roots of 2.5D puzzle platforming. You play as the knight, the thief, and the wizard, who need to cooperate together in order to defeat enemies and solve physics-based puzzles. The game can be played solo, where you flip between the characters yourself, or in co-op if you actually have any friends. It's worth mentioning the whole series is on sale, so it can be worth checking out if you're into platformers. Next up, we have Dirt Rally 2.0 GOTY, or Game of the Year Edition, at 75% off. Dirt Rally is the more hardcore spin-off on what has now become a bit more of an arcadey racing franchise. The game is punishingly difficult, but also extremely immersive and rewarding when you pull off a run flawlessly. Remember, listen to your co-driver. The game has VR and wheel peripheral support, and the Game of the Year Edition bundles in all 4 seasons of content and the flat-out pack for a real complete experience. Another racing game, we have Need for Speed Heat at 70% off. Considered a return to form for the franchise, Need for Speed Heat divides your time into sanctioned races during the day and illegal street races at night. At night, the payoffs are bigger, but the police will keep tabs on you across the open world city as you make your way to events. The more races you do, the higher your earnings, but if the police catch you or total your car, you'll lose those earnings and reputation. To build yourself back up, you could play it safe and take more time during the day to do sanctioned races. Of course, the game also has deep customization of your cars, from the tuning of performance to the intricate decal system, which is shared online so you can grab the best community-made skins for free. Next up, we have Mortal Kombat 11 at 70% off. Going from strength to strength, Mortal Kombat continues its brutal take on the fighting genre. MK11 features a full story campaign as well as some new additions to gameplay, such as its character variation system allowing you to change up your existing move lists, and also Fatal Blows, which are now these high damage dealing moves that can be used only if your health is lower than 30%. The game also released an Ultimate Edition this year that won Best Fighting Game at the Game Awards, adding characters outside of the universe such as Robocop, Joker, Terminator T-1000, and Rambo. While it is a bit of a DLC factory, the base game is definitely still worth picking up at great value at 70% off. Next up, we have Fel Seal Arbiters Mark at 66% off. A turn-based tactical RPG, you take control of an arbiter of the Immortal Council, but corruption and infighting is plaguing the council, and so the arbiters, the lawmakers of the world, begin to distrust and turn on each other. It's up to you to build a party of specialized characters, travel to beast-infested lands, and find the corrupt arbiter in order to put a stop to a new threat to peace. The gameplay is largely made up of tactical battles inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics, where you'll have these large parties with lots of specializations and classes for each. The maps are constrained, with each tile of terrain having a big impact on your battle strategy. Next, we have Sunless Skies at 60% off. Sunless Skies is a top-down RPG where you're in control of a steam engine-powered locomotive that sails the stars. You must recruit, train, and manage your crew to deal with the horrors of the universe, Her Majesty's Guards, and other roaming pirates. The game has amazing writing, a beautiful and unique setting, and provides challenging gameplay where you'll have to make a choice on how to supply your crew versus powering your locomotive. Next up, we have Total War 3 Kingdoms at 50% off, a new low price for the game. 3 Kingdoms merges fantasy and history in its adaptation of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms novel, utilizing its renowned combination of a turn-based campaign with real-time battles, and some new big additions for the series, including an all-new intricate diplomatic system. Since release, the game has had several free content updates, adding several new playable heroes and new foes to fight against. Next up, we have Phoenix Point Year 1 Edition. Like Outer Wilds, the game was successfully kickstarted and then became an Epic exclusive for a year, but it's now made its way to Steam in December with the Year 1 Edition. The game is basically XCOM, but with less RNG due to its manual aim system and its cone-based Overwatch. It also features boss fights, vehicles, and adaptive missions where the AI will attempt to counter your strengths over time. Next up, we have Disco Elysium, one of 2019's highest regarded games. Disco Elysium is an isometric RPG where you play as a detective. You have a large degree of freedom to solve cases as you see fit, or take bribes and look the other way. Take a night off from the job and go clubbing, or focus on a massive murder investigation. It's up to you. The game also recently announced its Final Cut Edition, a free upgrade where all text will receive voice acting, slated for March of 2021. Next, we have the Halo Master Chief Collection at a new low price of 40% off. The Master Chief Collection has just had its final edition in November, meaning it now contains Halo Reach, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, 3, ODST, and 4, all in one package, all remastered with updated visuals and audio. The collection also features multiplayer, Forge mode, and a new weapon and vehicle skins for the various titles. Next, we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice at 35% off. From the creators of Demon's Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne, Sekiro is a punishing third-person action-adventure game set in a reimagined 16th century Japan. Compared to its predecessors, Sekiro removes the character creator, stat upgrades, and multiplayer, but adds gear upgrading and skill trees. When it comes to enemy encounters, instead of slowly taking down a health bar, you instead attack their posture and balance, creating an opening for a one-hit kill. Traversal was also refined with generally faster movement and a grappling hook to add with verticality. The game also received numerous Game of the Year awards in 2019 and is extremely highly rated on Steam with 94% user reviews. The last game for 2019 is Transport Fever 2 at 33% off. Transport Fever is a logistics game whereby combining transport routes you deliver the goods needed to help cities grow and thrive, and provide you with more income. Transport Fever 2 has 3 campaigns that range from the 1850s to modern day, with their own retelling of historical events. It features logistics on land, sea and air, has robust map editing and modding support, and a total of over 200 vehicles. Now we're going to move back to 2018 for some pretty big discounts on fairly well established games and franchises. So in the interest of time, I'm going to make these ones even quicker now, as the likelihood of people owning and knowing these games is probably just a little bit higher. At a whopping 90% off, we have Jurassic World Evolution. From the developers of Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, Jurassic World Evolution is more of a customized viewing gallery for dinosaurs than a deep management game. There's still a lot of fun to be had in the campaign, story and missions, and there's also added free play, but generally your options are a bit limited in how you build your park. Still, for 90% off, it can be quite fun watching a tropical storm blow in and your dinos getting set free. Fun is the word for that, right? Next is Hitman 2 Gold Edition at 85% off. This is the complete Hitman 2 package with expansion 1 and 2 included alongside several other items. Hitman, of course, is the third-person action game from IO Interactive where you have a large degree of freedom within a map to explore creative ways of taking out your target. Next up is We Happy Few at 85% off. This one was recommended to me in the comments of the last video, so here it is. We Happy Few is a first-person action-adventure game set in a drug-fueled alternate 1960s England. Hide, fight, and conform your way out of this delusional, joy-obsessed world where you play as 3 flawed characters exploring their connection to each other. Next up is Nino Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom at 84% off, a new low price. Nino Kuni 2 is an open-world adventure game. You play as King Evan after he's overthrown in a coup. He has to form a new kingdom, unite his world, and protect its inhabitants from the dark forces that threaten them. The game has a split focus between kingdom building and real-time combat with a great art style and soundtrack. Next up is the Banner Saga Trilogy Deluxe Edition. The Banner Saga is a brilliant story-focused tactical RPG with an excellent art style. You manage a caravan of people as you travel the frozen landscape battling a once-thought extinct race called the Dredge. Your story is split over multiple perspectives and characters, and many of those you meet along the way can die, depending on your choices. Next up is XCOM War of the Chosen at 75% off. A DLC for XCOM 2, War of the Chosen adds new factions and classes, weapons and items, new battle modes and missions, environments, and new strategic options on the campaign, as well as the Chosen enemies, which can drop into your ongoing missions midway through for added challenge. Though a lot of people are likely to have this, I thought it was worth bringing up as it's been stubbornly at a higher price for quite a long time. This is the first time it's reached 75% off. Next is Warhammer 40k Mechanicus at 67% off. This is an excellent turn-based tactics game set in the 40k universe. Take control of the most technologically advanced army in the Imperium, the Adeptus Mechanicus, as you lead an expedition into the Necron-infested Silva Tenebri. Navigate the chambers of tombs, earning yourself gear and upgrades to strengthen your recruits and augment their bodies with powerful weaponry. Next up is Kingdom Come Deliverance at 60% off, a new low price. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a first-person story-driven RPG set in the year 1403 in the Kingdom of Bohemia, which is part of the Holy Roman Empire. You play as Henry, a blacksmith's son who joins a resistance movement against the Hungarian king's raids and invasions. The game has a big focus on immersion with period-authentic weaponry and buildings. This carries over to combat, where 1 or 2 moves can be the difference between victory and defeat. Next up is Final Fantasy XV at 50% off. Final Fantasy XV is a massive open-world RPG with real-time battles. You play as Noctis, heir to the Lucian throne, and after learning of a surprise attack by Niflheim to steal a powerful crystal, you set out on an adventure to take it back and become the true king, enabling you to use the crystal's power for yourself. Lastly, this was another suggestion in the comments, and it's Borderlands, the Handsome Collection at 96% off. Now, the Handsome Collection contains Borderlands 2 from 2012 and Borderlands the pre-sequel from 2014, as well as all their DLCs. Because of the cel-shaded nature of the games, they hold up really well and can be played solo or co-op online. Very quickly, I want to mention 2 games that are on the Epic Games Store exclusively. MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries is 30% off and is basically a first-person shooter where you're the pilot of a customizable and upgradable mech fighting for control of systems on a large galactic map. The game looks great and has a huge variety of weapons and impressive destructible terrain. And next is Airborne Kingdom. A city builder in the sky, Airborne Kingdom is 20% off, a unique take on city building where you have to balance your power versus your weight in order to stay afloat in the sky, all while completing quests for the various towns and cities below. It's a really great spin on city building, and with great artwork, this is a bit of a hidden gem in my opinion. Now, it's worth mentioning that the Epic Games Store is also running a $10 redeemable coupon, which can be paired with any game on checkout, so Airborne Kingdom could be purchased for just $5, for example. And that's it for my top of the sale video for winter 2020. If you think I missed anything really big in terms of discounts, then feel free to let me know in the comments. Please as well, if you like the video and want to see another one in the spring sale, do leave a like, post some of the gems out there you think should be highlighted, and share this video with any friends who may be looking to buy while the sale is still on. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you want to support this series directly, you can click the join button to become a channel member. Doing so will get your name in the credits, as well as loyalty badges and emotes to use in the comments. If you don't see the join button, it means the video has been copyright claimed, but you can still join from the channel page on desktop. You can also link your account to our Discord to get a special role on there that will give you access to the Senate House and a few other perks.